Hello there, and welcome to Deep Space Sleep Channel. I'm glad you're here tonight. Take a deep breath and imagine standing in a quiet forest, where sunlight filters through green layers of leaves and the air feels alive with calm. Beneath your feet, an entire world hums roots, fungi, and soil whispering in a slow, invisible language. The trees above you are not alone. They are part of a vast network, sharing water, minerals, and memory through delicate threads of connection. Every branch, every leaf, every root moves with awareness, so ancient it feels almost divine. The forest is not still, it is breathing. It listens through its roots. It speaks through its scent, and it remembers through time. When one tree suffers, others send help. When one thrives, its strength spreads outward. It is a living web of care, an intelligence that measures time in centuries and silence in wisdom. Tonight, you will hear its voice, the quiet rhythm of the living earth, the heartbeat of roots reaching for one another in the dark. Let the sound of leaves guide your breath. Let the patience of trunks slow your thoughts. And let the stillness of the forest hold you gently. If the trees can listen, so can we. If the forest can remember, so can you. Tell me, where are you listening from tonight? Beneath what sky? Among which trees and now? Let's begin. Beneath the surface of the earth lies an entire forest hidden from sight. Roots stretch like rivers, intertwining in silence, carrying water, minerals, and memory through the soil. It is a world as alive as the canopy above, filled with motion too slow for the human eye to see. Microbes, fungi, and roots form a vast, breathing network, each thread pulsing with quiet communication. Down here, there is no separation between one tree and another. Life moves as a single thought beneath the ground. The earth itself feels like an enormous lung, exhaling life upward through every trunk. The underground forest reminds us that what is unseen often holds the deepest intelligence. Beneath our feet, awareness hums like a soft current, ancient and patient, guiding the rhythm of everything that grows above. Deep below the soil, a vast system known as the mycorrhizal network connects trees through fungal threads thinner than a strand of hair. These filaments act like neural pathways, carrying messages, nutrients, and warnings between roots. Through them, trees share resources with those in need and alert one another to danger. This hidden network has been called the Wood Wide Web, a living internet of the forest. Fungi receive sugars from trees while providing minerals in return, forming a partnership that sustains entire ecosystems. It is both intelligence and cooperation, an ancient alliance older than the forest itself. Every root that touches another becomes part of something larger, a connected mind beneath the ground, a whispering consciousness of balance and exchange, unseen but always alive. Roots communicate through tiny electrical pulses that move like thoughts through the soil. These signals pass from one tree to another, carrying information about drought, light, or nearby threats. Each root tip acts like a sensor, responding to sound, touch, and vibration. Together, they form a vast system of awareness beneath the forest floor. Scientists have recorded these subtle electric rhythms, showing that roots respond to one another, much like neurons exchanging messages. The forest does not shout, it hums in soft frequencies, the quiet heartbeat of the earth itself. Through this silent language, trees maintain harmony, coordinating growth and protection. Beneath our feet, there is conversation without sound, a dialogue made of energy and patience. Proof that life listens even when it cannot speak. During times of drought, trees do not simply compete for water, they share it. Through their roots and fungal partners, stronger trees transfer moisture to those struggling in the heat. The exchange is slow but deliberate, measured by gradients of pressure and need. Older trees often act as reservoirs, releasing stored water from deeper layers of soil to sustain younger ones nearby. This quiet generosity ensures that the forest survives as a whole rather than as individuals, even in scarcity. Cooperation outweighs competition. The rhythm of shared survival runs through every living root, turning hardship into connection. When the rain finally returns, the forest breathes again, restored by its own compassion. The trees remind us that balance and kindness are not human inventions, they are laws of nature itself. A forest is not a collection of separate trees, but one living organism connected by air, soil, and thought. Each trunk is a cell in a larger body, each leaf a tiny lung, each root a nerve reaching into the earth. Together, they exchange oxygen, moisture, and information, maintaining balance across the ecosystem. The forest regulates its own climate, creates its own weather, and nurtures its own life through constant communication. When one tree is harmed, the entire network feels it. When one thrives, its energy spreads outward. The forest's intelligence is not housed in a single mind, but shared among millions. It grows, heals, and remembers as one. To walk among trees is to step inside a living consciousness, a being made of stillness, breath, and infinite connection. Fungi act as the unseen brain of the forest, forming networks that allow trees to communicate, share, and respond to change. These microscopic threads, called mycelium, stretch for miles, connecting roots in a living system of exchange. They send signals when danger approaches and distribute nutrients where needed most. Through fungi, the forest becomes aware of itself, able to adapt and heal. Each connection is both messenger and memory, storing information about seasons, rainfall, and soil. The mycelial web is ancient and precise, guiding the growth of life above while thriving in the darkness below. It is the forest's nervous system, unseen but essential. Through its quiet architecture, fungi teach that intelligence does not always need a brain. Sometimes it only needs patience, connection, and the wisdom of decay becoming life again. Roots can recognize their kin, responding differently to family than to strangers. Experiments show that trees slow their root growth when near relatives, avoiding competition and allowing space to share nutrients with unrelated trees. They extend roots aggressively, competing for survival. This ability reveals awareness of identity within the soil. Plants sense chemical signatures, the subtle scent of familiarity carried through moisture and minerals. Families of trees form small communities underground, helping one another grow stronger together. It is a natural version of cooperation, an instinctive compassion encoded in biology. Through kin recognition, forests organize themselves with grace and care, proving that empathy in nature is not emotional but structural, a pattern of coexistence shaped by memory, trust, and quiet understanding written in the language of roots. Beneath the forest floor, species trade nutrients through an intricate economy of balance. Trees give sugars to fungi in exchange for phosphorus, nitrogen, and water. Shrubs and smaller plants receive resources from larger ones through shared networks. ensuring that no part of the ecosystem is left behind. These transactions are not random, they are guided by need and reciprocity. The forest behaves like a marketplace without greed, where energy flows freely toward harmony. Even dying trees release their remaining nutrients into the soil, investing in the next generation. This nutrient trading system blurs the line between individuality and unity. It shows that in nature, survival is not competition but collaboration. Each root, each filament, acts with purpose, participating in an unspoken agreement that life continues best when shared. When a tree becomes weak or sick, its neighbors often come to its aid. Through root connections and fungal bridges, healthy trees transfer sugars, water, and nutrients to the one in need. This support can keep a dying tree alive for years, sustained entirely by the generosity of others. Scientists call these nurse trees, guardians of the weak who maintain the balance of the forest. This quiet rescue work happens far below the surface. Unseen but constant, it is nature's compassion made real through chemistry and connection. The forest does not abandon its own, it endures through cooperation. In this silent act of kindness, we see intelligence expressed as empathy. Each living root becomes a hand reaching out through darkness, proving that care is the oldest instinct of all. Soil remembers everything. Its layers hold chemical and biological patterns that record the history of a forest: floods, fires, droughts, and growth. Microbes and fungi act like archivists, storing signals from generations of trees. This memory shapes future growth, teaching new roots how to adapt and respond. When rain falls or seasons change, the soil recalls how it once reacted, ensuring survival through experience. In this way, the ground beneath us is alive with the forest's past. It breathes history with every root that touches it, whispering lessons from centuries gone. Memory in soil is not written in words, but in chemistry, moisture, and time. Beneath every step lies the archive of existence, proof that the earth itself remembers how to live, how to heal, and how to begin again. Beneath the silence of roots, thought flows without sound. Leaves communicate through invisible chemical messages carried on the wind. When insects begin to feed, the injured leaves release specific compounds that travel through the air, alerting nearby plants to prepare their defenses. These signals trigger other leaves to produce protective chemicals or alter their growth to deter predators. It is a silent conversation that happens in real time, spreading awareness across entire patches of forest. Each chemical message carries meaning: danger, healing, or change. This form of communication shows that even without nerves or speech, plants share a system of intelligence built on response and memory. Through scent and chemistry, leaves whisper to one another, creating harmony within the chaos of life. Their language is invisible, yet constant, a soft exchange of awareness, keeping the forest balanced and alive. When danger approaches, plants send warning scents into the air, a kind of chemical alarm system. These volatile compounds drift through the forest, alerting neighboring trees to prepare for defense. When one leaf is chewed by an insect, others nearby increase their production of protective toxins even before they are touched. Some plants call predators of those insects with specific smells, inviting allies into their defense. This scent-based communication forms an ecological conversation that transcends sound. It is not emotion but instinct, encoded in chemistry. An ancient awareness passed from leaf to leaf. In every breath of forest air, information flows, a mixture of caution, kare, and cooperation. The scent of warning proves that awareness is not always visible. Sometimes it lives quietly in the air we breathe. Light is one of nature's oldest messengers, carrying information through reflection, absorption, and shade. Leaves sense changes in brightness and angle, adjusting their growth and movement to maintain harmony with the sun. When light shifts, so does communication, signaling the time to bloom, rest, or conserve energy. Even neighboring plants respond to these subtle cues, shaping themselves to share rather than compete. In denser forests, flickers of filtered light become a code of balance, an unspoken dialogue guiding growth. Through this luminous exchange, the forest synchronizes its heartbeat, ensuring that life flows evenly through every layer. Light teaches that awareness travels not only through touch or scent, but also through energy itself, reminding us that even the smallest beam can carry meaning across worlds of green. Trees adapt the patterns of their leaves as part of their conversation with the environment. Each shape, fine, and texture reflects centuries of dialogue with sunlight, rain, and air. Some leaves grow broader to capture light, others narrow to reduce loss or protect from wind. The placement of each leaf is calculated, minimizing shadow on neighbors while maximizing shared energy. These adaptations are not random, but responses to constant communication between trees and their surroundings. Through this design, forests maintain equilibrium, ensuring that every life form receives its share of nourishment. The pattern of leaves becomes a map of wisdom, shaped by cooperation rather than competition. In their geometry lies awareness, the language of adaptation, proof that even stillness can respond when the world speaks softly through time and light. Leaves are sensitive to touch, responding to even the lightest movement. When brushed by wind, raindrops, or passing insects, they alter their internal chemistry, sometimes strengthening tissues or closing pores to protect themselves. This responsiveness reveals an awareness of contact, a perception of the environment through texture and motion. Some plants, like the mimosa, fold their leaves instantly when touched, conserving energy or shielding from harm. Others sway rhythmically, adjusting their orientation toward favorable light. These behaviors are forms of silent learning, the body's memory guiding its reaction. Touch for a leaf is not emotion but information, a language of vibration and sensation written in motion. Through this awareness, plants remind us that life listens in many ways, even in the quiet trembling of a single leaf in the wind. Photosynthesis is a dance of rhythm and light, a pulse that turns sunlight into life. Each leaf breathes in carbon dioxide, drinks water through its veins, and transforms both into sugar through the touch of light. This process happens in waves, like a steady heartbeat flowing through the canopy. The rhythm of photosynthesis connects the entire forest, synchronizing growth across roots and branches. When sunlight fades, the dance slows, only to begin again with dawn. It is not simply chemistry but choreography, energy moving through silence, awareness transforming into form. Every flicker of green is movement, every shimmer of light, a step in this endless waltz of existence. The dance of photosynthesis reminds us that creation is constant, that even in stillness, life moves in quiet rhythm with the sun. Day and night are the forest's heartbeat, an endless rhythm guiding every living thing. When sunlight floods the canopy, leaves awaken, releasing oxygen and drawing in energy. As darkness falls, the forest exhales, resting and rebuilding what was spent. This cycle of light and shadow is not just time but balance, the slow breathing of the planet itself. Trees measure their days not by clocks but by warmth and silence. adjusting every process to the pulse of the sun. Each dawn renews, each dusk restores. Even nocturnal creatures move within this rhythm, feeling its calm precision. The forest lives between inhale and exhale, between brightness and quiet, between doing and being. Day and night remind us that awareness is a circle, always returning, always steady, always listening to the breath of the world. Leaves hold memories of the sunlight they have gathered. Within their cells, pigments record intensity, color, and warmth, storing information about the changing seasons. When autumn arrives, those memories surface as gold, red, and amber, the visual story of light translated into beauty. This recollection helps trees adapt, preparing for future growth based on past experience. Even as a leaf falls, it carries history within it. Knowledge of storms, droughts, and calm days. The memory of sunlight becomes both guidance and gift, a living record of time turned into nourishment. Each flicker of light absorbed is stored in silence, waiting to be shared through soil and seed. The forest remembers through its leaves, whispering the story of every sunrise that ever touched its branches, every day that made its life continue. Every leaf carries a faint electrical pulse, a sign of awareness alive within its tissue. These microscopic currents travel through veins, reacting to touch, temperature, and light. Scientists have found that when a leaf is injured or shaded, the signal changes instantly, communicating its condition to the rest of the tree. This hidden circuitry functions like a nervous system, a silent intelligence that keeps the forest connected. Electricity flows not with violence, but with calm precision, guiding growth and response. Even without a brain, the tree feels its environment through this energy. The pulse inside a leaf is life measured in light and motion, the subtle hum of existence made visible only to those who listen closely. In every charge, the forest proves that thought can exist quietly. Beneath green and breath, trees calm storms with breath. When forests release moisture through their leaves, it rises into the sky, cooling the air and forming clouds that temper heat and wind. This gentle exhalation stabilizes weather, softening extremes and bringing rain where it is needed most. Forests are the planet's lungs, regulating not only their own climate but the balance of the world. Each breath of vapor released is a whisper of peace between earth and sky. Through this quiet exchange, storms lose their sharpness, finding rhythm in the forest's steady respiration. The breath of trees is not only life-giving, but soothing, turning chaos into calm. They remind us that even the fiercest forces can be softened by balance, that peace begins in the steady act of breathing with awareness and grace. Every leaf listens and every breath carries meaning. Every living tree generates a faint bioelectric current, an invisible pulse that flows through roots, trunk, and leaves. These tiny charges come from ions moving through water inside the xylem, creating a steady rhythm of energy. The current changes with sunlight, moisture, and temperature, turning each tree into a living battery of awareness. Scientists measuring this current found that trees respond instantly to changes in their environment, their energy rising and falling like breath. This bioelectric pulse connects the entire forest, a quiet hum uniting every leaf and branch. It is not electricity for machines but for life, a signal of balance and adaptation. Through these subtle voltages, trees sense the world, communicate with neighbors, and sustain the unseen dialogue of the Earth's green circuits that never stop glowing softly within silence. When storms gather above the forest, lightning and thunder trigger hidden conversations between the trees. The electrical charge in the air alters the tiny currents inside leaves and bark, creating responses that ripple across the canopy. Some trees increase their chemical defenses, others shift the flow of water through their roots. This reaction is a kind of awareness, the forest recognizing change and preparing as one. After the storm passes, the new balance remains, a memory written into energy. Trees are not afraid of lightning, they listen to it. Each strike reshapes the invisible communication network above and below ground. In storms, nature speaks loudly, and the forest answers in silence, adjusting itself with patience. The thunder may fade, but its pulse continues underground, a spark that renews the dialogue between sky and soil. Lightning does not only strike, it teaches. When it meets the earth, its immense energy reshapes root systems, influencing how trees grow and connect. The flash creates channels of minerals in the soil, charging them with nitrogen and other nutrients that feed the forest. Trees near frequent lightning zones often develop deeper, more intricate roots, adapting to carry that energy safely through the ground. This connection between sky and soil is both destructive and creative, a reminder that power and growth often share the same spark. Lightning carves invisible pathways of renewal, guiding roots toward richer ground. Each strike becomes a signature of transformation, proof that even chaos has purpose. In every storm, the forest receives both warning and wisdom. The sky's fierce energy translated into life. Inside every living tree beats a rhythm, a slow, electrical heartbeat flowing through its core. This pulse is created as water and nutrients rise from root to crown, generating small voltage changes that repeat in cycles. Scientists have recorded these waves of energy, finding that they align with daylight and temperature, as though the tree itself breathes in time with the planet. The rhythm is faint but constant, a sign of the tree's awareness of its own movement. Each pulse marks the transport of life, a beat that mirrors the human heart but measured in hours instead of seconds. This steady current connects all living wood to the Earth's great circuit of energy. To listen closely is to hear the forest's heartbeat, patient, unwavering, and endlessly alive beneath the silence. Magnetic fields help guide the sap that flows within trees, aligning its motion with the Earth's natural forces. Just as migrating birds navigate by magnetism, trees sense subtle magnetic currents that influence how nutrients rise and fall through their trunks. This alignment ensures balance, directing energy evenly between root and leaf. When the Earth's field shifts, the flow adjusts, calm, continuous, unbroken. Scientists believe this connection may help trees orient themselves, keeping internal systems in rhythm with the planet's pulse. Sap is more than liquid, it is the bloodstream of the forest, responding to unseen forces in elegant harmony. Through magnetism, trees stay attuned to their environment, their silent currents echoing the balance of the cosmos itself. Every drop of sap carries awareness, moving with intention through the quiet heart of living wood. Energy pulses travel through the bark of trees like messages in a hidden network. These faint currents carry information between roots, branches, and leaves, helping the tree regulate water, temperature, and defense. The bark acts as both shield and conductor, channeling ions that respond to the forest's changing rhythm. When light shifts or moisture drops, the pattern of electricity changes too, creating a living pulse that keeps the tree aware of its surroundings. Beneath the rough texture of bark lies a constant flow of communication, too soft for human senses, but essential for life. It is through these pulses that trees coordinate growth, healing, and adaptation. Every flicker of energy is a thought, every spark a signal, proof that awareness can move not through speech, but through the gentle heartbeat of wood. When wind brushes against the canopy, it becomes more than movement, it becomes memory. Echt branches branches, creating friction that produces tiny electrical responses inside leaves and bark. These reactions are stored as patterns, guiding future growth and resilience. Trees remember the rhythm of the wind, adjusting their structure to bend without breaking. The whisper of air becomes a lesson in endurance, a dialogue between motion and stillness. Over years, a tree learns the song of its environment, every storm shaping its body and its pulse. Wind leaves invisible traces, like fingerprints of weather etched into living wood. Through this memory, the forest adapts not by fear, but by understanding, turning chaos into calm. The air carries wisdom, and the trees, patient listeners, never forget its voice. Forests sense pressure and movement through a vast network of roots and stems that respond to even the lightest change. When an animal passes or a storm approaches, the tension in the soil and the vibration in the air trigger electrical and chemical shifts within the trees. These subtle signals ripple outward, alerting the forest to presence and motion. The trees feel footsteps before they hear them, sensing the world through vibration rather than sight. Pressure becomes language. Movement becomes message. This awareness allows forests to react collectively, tightening their systems or relaxing when calm returns. Beneath the stillness, the forest is never unaware. It is listening, always tuned to the breath and weight of life around it. The woods are alive with attention, quiet, yet endlessly awake. Beneath the moss that carpets the forest floor, electricity hums softly through the soil. Tiny organisms, fungal filaments, and roots create microscopic voltages that weave together the foundation of life. This energy fuels decomposition, growth, and renewal, turning fallen leaves into nourishment for future trees. The moss absorbs this current, storing moisture and amplifying the charge like a living battery. Scientists have found measurable voltages beneath the green surface, proof that even the smallest layer of nature carries power. The voltage beneath moss is not mechanical but organic, born of cooperation between billions of tiny lives. It is the forest's low hum, the spark that keeps the circle unbroken. Under every step lies a field of quiet electricity, sustaining the hidden pulse of the living earth. Between every electrical pulse in a tree lies silence. And in that silence, thought. The forest does not speak continuously. It pauses, allowing balance to return. These quiet moments between signals are what give meaning to the rhythm rest between beats, breath between words. In stillness, the forest interprets what has passed and prepares for what comes next. This pattern mirrors the human mind, where calm creates clarity. The silence is not emptiness, but awareness, a meditative state where energy gathers before it moves again. The trees exist in cycles of motion and pause, creation and reflection. Each pulse of electricity is followed by listening, each wave of energy by peace. Within this cadence, the forest becomes a thinking organism, its consciousness unfolding softly in the spaces between sound. The forest hums softly, an orchestra of living light. Tree rings are the fingerprints of time, each one marking a year of life and change. A season pass, new layers of wood form, recording droughts, storms, and moments of abundance. In these rings lies the diary of the forest years of hardship, years of calm, each written in silent circles. Scientists can read these lines to uncover the history of climate and growth, decoding the rhythm of survival, written in grain and color. The inner rings tell of youth and struggle, while the outer ones speak of wisdom and resilience. Every ring is both memory and heartbeat, the visible record of invisible patience. When we cut through a trunk, we are not just seeing wood, we are looking at time itself, coiled quietly within the living architecture of the earth. Trees can sense and grow towards sound, responding to vibrations carried through the air and soil. When exposed to gentle, consistent frequencies like those of flowing water or rustling wind, their roots and stems adjust direction, seeking the source. This subtle awareness helps them find nourishment and balance within the landscape. Sound waves guide growth, much like sunlight or gravity, shaping the body of the tree through resonance. The forest itself hums with these vibrations, a shared symphony of motion and response. Each root grows toward harmony, not noise, choosing frequencies that promise life. Sound becomes the invisible sculptor of form, teaching that awareness extends beyond sight and touch. In listening to the world around them, trees grow not randomly but rhythmically, following the music written into existence itself. Gravity shapes every trunk with gentle precision. As trees grow, they constantly adjust to remain upright, responding to the pull of the earth with remarkable balance. This process, known as gravitropism, guides roots downward and stems toward the sky. It is a quiet collaboration between force and growth, strength and surrender. Gravity gives trees their grace, their perfect equilibrium between stability and aspiration. Even when bent by wind or slope, they find their center again, adapting form to maintain balance. This dance between weight and willpower defines the forest's architecture, each trunk a pillar of harmony between motion and stillness. Gravity is not an enemy to defy, but a teacher to follow. Through its pull, trees learn resilience, growing in alignment with the planet's steady heartbeat of calm power. The secret to a tree's endurance lies in its balance between strength and flexibility. Wood is firm enough to hold the weight of branches, yet soft enough to bend without breaking in storms. This dual nature allows trees to survive winds, floods, and snow without losing their grace. The fibers inside the trunk twist slightly as they grow, distributing tension like the muscles of a living body. Strength provides structure, flexibility provides survival. Together, they create the harmony that defines the forest. This balance reflects the intelligence of adaptation, knowing when to resist and when to yield. Trees teach that resilience is not rigidity but motion, that true stability comes from the ability to sway and recover. In their silent dance with the elements, they embody the art of enduring with ease. Branches grow according to natural mathematics, following geometric patterns that repeat across the universe. Each split forms an angle optimized for light and stability, mirroring the spirals found in seashells and galaxies. This sequence, known as the Fibonacci pattern, appears in leaves, flowers, and tree limbs alike, revealing a shared code of balance in all creation. The architecture of branches is not random but the product of deep intelligence within nature's design. It distributes weight, captures sunlight, and allows air to move freely through the canopy. Every curve, every fork, carry purpose. In studying these fractal forms, we glimpse the logic that binds art and science together. The forest becomes a cathedral of geometry, its branches composing silent equations of beauty, growth, and harmony written in wood and light. Leaves grow in spirals that follow a universal mathematical rhythm known as phyllotaxis. This spiral arrangement allows each leaf to capture sunlight without shading the others, creating perfect harmony between order and purpose. The pattern is often based on the Fibonacci sequence, the same ratio found in seashells, hurricanes, and galaxies. This spiral code is nature's quiet blueprint for efficiency, beauty, and survival. It reveals that growth follows intelligence older than life itself, written into the fabric of creation. Each swirl of leaves is a visible echo of balance, showing how mathematics and art coexist in nature. When you look at a branch spiraling upward, you are witnessing geometry turned into life. A message from the universe reminding us that structure and elegance are not separate but forever intertwined in green. Forests breathe carbon into life, turning invisible air into tangible form. Through photosynthesis, trees draw in carbon dioxide and release oxygen, shaping the balance of the atmosphere with every breath. This exchange transforms the raw elements of the planet into food, shelter, and energy for all living things. Forests act as lungs of the earth, absorbing what we exhale and giving back what we need. Each leaf participates in this vast circulation, maintaining equilibrium across continents. The carbon they store becomes part of soil, animals, and even our bodies. It is a silent cycle of generosity, an unbroken promise of renewal. The forest's breath keeps the planet alive, reminding us that existence itself depends on cooperation. Every inhale of the world carries the memory of trees, steady and sacred in their endless exhalation of life. The geometry of a forest canopy is one of nature's most intricate designs. Each layer of leaves forms a pattern that optimizes sunlight, airflow, and protection. From above, it looks like a living mosaic, branches interlocking without colliding, creating balance between shade and openness. This structure allows rain to filter softly to the ground while preserving moisture for life below. The canopy's design also shapes ecosystems, influencing temperature and rhythm within the forest. Its architecture mirrors that of coral reefs and cloud systems, following fractal laws that repeat across scale and species. Every gap between leaves has purpose. Every ray of light that passes through feeds another life. The canopy is not chaos, but harmony in motion, proof that intelligence is built into form, that balance is the first principle of creation. Roots map the unseen world beneath the soil with precision and grace. They stretch outward and downward, feeling their way through darkness, guided by moisture, gravity, and memory. Each tendril senses obstacles and adjusts its path, creating a living map of the underground. This exploration is not random but deliberate, forming networks that find nutrients, share information, and stabilize the earth. Roots navigate through rock and clay like quiet explorers charting a hidden universe. The shapes they form mirror river systems and lightning strikes, patterns of natural intelligence written in earth tones. In mapping the unseen, roots show that discovery does not always require vision. Their journey reminds us that awareness can thrive in silence, and that the foundation of life often lies in what the eye can never see. The patience of slow creation defines the rhythm of trees. They grow not in haste, but in perfect timing, adding ring after ring as the centuries unfold. A tree's progress cannot be rushed. Its wisdom is measured in years of stillness and resilience. Through storms, droughts, and shifting seasons, it endures by waiting, never fighting the pace of nature. This patience is its strength, allowing balance to emerge from time itself. Every branch, every leaf, is the result of countless moments of quiet perseverance. The forest teaches that creation does not demand urgency, only intention. Growth that lasts is growth that listens. In the slowness of becoming, the world finds stability. The patience of trees mirrors the patience of the universe, deliberate, steady, and endlessly faithful to its own unfolding. Growth is not motion, it is memory stretching toward light. Trees can recognize friends and rivals through chemical signals released into the soil and air. When roots of related trees meet, they often slow their growth, allowing each other space and sharing nutrients through fungal networks. With unrelated trees, they become more competitive, extending roots aggressively to claim resources. This awareness shapes the balance of the forest, guiding cooperation where it benefits survival. The recognition between kin shows that trees understand identity in their own quiet way, responding differently depending on who stands nearby. They form communities built on memory and relationship, not isolation. Every forest is a network of choices of giving, sharing, or holding back. This social awareness proves that life beneath the canopy is not random but deeply intentional. A system where understanding replaces conflict and unity sustains all. Mother trees feed their saplings through underground connections, sending water, sugar, and nutrients to younger trees struggling in the shadows. Using the vast web of fungi beneath the soil, these elders nurture the next generation, ensuring that the forest continues to thrive long after they are gone. Scientists have observed that mother trees recognize their offspring and direct more energy toward them than toward unrelated seedlings. It is a quiet form of love, written in carbon and sap, not emotion but purpose. These acts of generosity keep the forest balanced, blending strength with compassion. Even as the largest trees grow old, they give more than they take, becoming teachers of endurance and patience. Through their roots, they whisper survival lessons to their children, carrying the memory of sunlight into the future. Forests are built on alliances between species, each depending on the other for balance and survival. Trees of different kinds share space, exchanging nutrients, stabilizing soil, and protecting one another from disease or pests. Birch trees lend carbon to firs in winter. Firs return shade in summer. Fungi, moss, and animals join this cooperative network, creating an ecosystem defined not by competition but by harmony. These partnerships are ancient, born from shared need and trust. The forest thrives because no species stands alone. Every life form contributes to the stability of the whole. This alliance is the true strength of nature, showing that success does not come from dominance, but from connection. Each tree, each organism, is a note in a living symphony of unity that sustains the earth in balance. Old-growth trees are the silent philanthropists of the forest, giving endlessly to sustain those around them. Their roots reach deep into history, drawing nutrients that younger trees cannot access, and then sharing them freely through underground networks. They create microclimates that protect seedlings from heat and frost, offering shade, moisture, and balance. Their fallen branches and decaying trunks feed countless organisms, turning death into nourishment. The generosity of these giants keeps the forest strong, passing on resilience through cycles of renewal. They are the mentors of the ecosystem, the steady hands that shape harmony over centuries. Their giving never ends, even after their final breath. Through selflessness, they prove that the truest form of power in nature is not control but contribution. a quiet offering to the continuity of life. Even dying trees hold wisdom. As they age and weaken, they redirect their last energy to the soil, feeding fungi, insects, and young saplings. Their trunks become homes for birds and small animals, transforming decay into protection. The nutrients released through their roots enrich the ground for generations to come. This slow surrender is not loss, but legacy. An act of completion that strengthens the forest's future. Dying trees continue to communicate, their roots pulsing with residual energy long after leaves have fallen. They remind the forest that endings are part of the rhythm of growth, that wisdom often comes in stillness. In their silence, they teach that death in nature is not an end, but a transformation, the final lesson of balance and the eternal return to life. Trees protect their offspring through shade, using their branches to filter sunlight and create safe spaces for young saplings to grow. The canopy regulates temperature, prevent dehydration, and shields delicate leaves from harsh rays. This gentle act of protection gives seedlings time to strengthen before facing the full force of the elements. Shade is both comfort and lesson, teaching resilience through patience. The mother tree sacrifices some of her light so that new life can rise. This balance between shelter and growth ensures the forest continues, generation after generation. Shade becomes more than shadow. It is guidance, care made visible. Through this quiet guardianship, trees remind us that nurturing strength often means stepping back, allowing others to flourish in safety until they are ready to reach the light on their own. Forests maintain equality through constant balance and exchange. No single tree dominates forever. When one grows too tall, the canopy shifts, redistributing light and rain. Underground, resources flow toward areas of need, ensuring that no species starves while another thrives unchecked. This harmony is maintained through shared awareness, each organism responding to the condition of the others. It is a self-correcting system where cooperation replaces hierarchy. The forest's equality does not erase difference but uses it to strengthen the whole. Diversity becomes resilience, and balance becomes law. Through this quiet fairness, the ecosystem endures for centuries, adapting without conflict. Every tree, from the youngest seedling to the ancient giant, plays its role in maintaining the steady rhythm of life. The forest teaches that true equality lives in connection, not in competition. When danger arrives in the form of pests or disease, trees join together in defense. They release chemical signals through the air and underground networks, warning nearby trees to strengthen their natural protections. Some produce bitter compounds that deter insects, while others summon predator species to restore balance. This shared defense transforms the forest into a living community of awareness and response. No tree stands alone. Each acts for the survival of all. The process is silent but deeply coordinated, a pattern refined through millions of years. It is nature's form of mutual aid, where cooperation protects life. The forest shows that unity, not isolation, ensures resilience. Every rustle of leaves in times of threat carries a message of solidarity, a promise that strength is found together, never apart. Each season brings new lessons to the forest. Spring teaches renewal. When roots awaken and branches stretch toward possibility, summer shows abundance, a reminder of the rewards of patience. Autumn offers humility. As leaves release their hold and return to earth, winter brings stillness, the time to rest and rebuild. Through this endless rotation, trees learn endurance and adaptation. Their lives are guided by rhythm, not resistance. They respond to change without fear, accepting it as the teacher it has always been. The forest never mourns the passing of a season. It trusts that each cycle holds purpose. These lessons of impermanence and renewal mirror the wisdom of time itself, reminding us that growth is not a straight path, but a circle where every ending gently leads to another beginning. The forest is a peaceful democracy, governed by balance rather than dominance. Every voice matters, from towering trees to the tiniest moss. Each contributes to the collective harmony that defines the ecosystem. Decisions are made through interaction, light shared, water exchanged, nutrients redistributed not through force, but through awareness. Power shifts naturally to where it is needed most, ensuring the whole remains strong. No single being controls the forest. Cooperation is its law. Patience, its wisdom. In this quiet order, harmony replaces hierarchy, and respect becomes instinct. The forest reminds us that strength is collective, that peace thrives when every life form listens to the others. Beneath its stillness lies a harmony so complete it feels sacred, a living example of equality shaped by connection and calm. Even in stillness, kindness moves through the roots. Trees shape clouds through invisible vapor rising from their leaves. This process, called transpiration, releases moisture into the air, where it gathers into mist and eventually becomes clouds. A single tree can release hundreds of liters of water each day, and entire forests create their own atmosphere through this steady exhalation. The vapor carries tiny organic particles that help form rain droplets, meaning clouds are partly born from the breath of trees. This exchange connects sky and soil, air and leaf, creating a cycle of renewal that sustains the planet. Every breeze above the canopy is infused with the memory of forests breathing together. Through this quiet act, trees sculpt weather, shaping the rhythm of rain and calm. Their breath is both creation and conversation, an invisible thread between earth and sky. Forests create their own rain through the collective breath of millions of trees. As moisture rises from leaves, it condenses into clouds that later release rain back upon the same land. This self-sustaining loop ensures that even distant forests maintain balance, drawing their own weather from within. When large areas of trees are lost, rainfall decreases, revealing how deeply forests influence climate. The Amazon, for example, produces nearly half its own precipitation, a living engine of renewal. Through this cycle, forests act as both lungs and hearts of the planet, pumping water and air in constant motion. Each droplet that falls carries the memory of leaves and vapor intertwined. This connection shows that nature is not passive, but aware, continuously rebuilding the balance that allows life to flourish everywhere. The breath of the forest is a continuous cycle of exhalation and renewal. Trees release oxygen into the air while absorbing carbon dioxide, maintaining the delicate balance that sustains all living things. As they breathe out, they also send moisture upward, feeding clouds and rain. The forest's breath moves through every living creature, returning through respiration and decay, forming an endless exchange between giving and receiving. This cycle is the planet's rhythm, soft but steady, unseen yet vital. It is not a mechanical process, but a living dialogue, a reminder that every breath connects us to the trees. The air we inhale once passed through leaves, carrying their calm intelligence within it. The forest teaches that breath is not just survival, but participation in the continuous renewal of life itself. The breath of trees connects continents. The oxygen produced in one forest may travel across oceans, sustaining life in distant lands. Air carries the spirit of the planet, mingling the breath of every living thing into one global rhythm. Winds that begin above the Amazon drift toward Africa, carrying particles of vitality that nurture other ecosystems. Through this exchange, trees on opposite sides of the world share a single conversation of balance and giving. The planet breathes as one organism, each inhale and exhale linking species, climates, and generations. When we take a breath, we are part of that same current, the shared motion of life moving endlessly through time. The connection is invisible but eternal, reminding us that no life stands apart, that every breath we take belongs to the earth. Air is the shared consciousness of life. It moves freely, touching every mountain, ocean, and living being without boundary or ownership. Within each breath exists the memory of trees, the song of oceans, and the warmth of sunlight. Air carries the whispers of forests, the pollen of flowers, and the breath of countless generations. It unites all life in a single moment of awareness, connecting bird to cloud, human to leaf, sea to sky. Every inhale is an act of communion. Every exhale, a gift returned. Through air, the planet thinks and feels, sharing energy across all forms of existence. The atmosphere is not emptiness, but a living mind that remembers everything it touches. Breathing becomes meditation, a reminder that we are part of something vast, unseen, and endlessly awake. The scent of pine carries memory, a fragrance that connects earth, Ezer, and time. Each needle releases essential oils that purify the atmosphere and calm the mind. When sunlight warms the forest, these invisible molecules rise, filling the air with a sense of clarity and peace. Scientists have found that breathing forest air lowers stress and strengthens the heart, as though the trees share their stillness through scent. The perfume of pine lingers like a song from ancient days, reminding us of mountains, rain, and the comfort of belonging to the living world. It is not just smell but memory, carried on the breeze to awaken something deep and old within us. Each inhale becomes a quiet reunion with the past. Each exhale a return to calm. Humidity in the forest is not just moisture, it is life's heartbeat made visible. The air within a forest holds water released by millions of leaves, creating a living mist that nurtures every creature beneath the canopy. This humidity softens the ground, cools the air, and keeps the rhythm of growth steady and strong. The forest breathes in vapor and exhales renewal. Each droplet, a pulse of connection between earth and sky. When the humidity rises, the forest becomes its own small universe, alive with invisible energy. It is this balance of water and warmth that makes green life thrive. In the still, d'Ampere, you can almost feel the planet's pulse, steady, patient, and full of breath. Fog drifting through the forest is not just weather, it is conversation. As moisture condenses around leaves and branches, it brings with it messages from the sky, minerals, water, and memory shared between earth and air. The fog moves slowly, wrapping the trees in silence, carrying signals of change and renewal. Plants drink from its softness, absorbing moisture through their leaves, even before the rain begins. In this quiet exchange, the forest listens and responds, adjusting its rhythm to the gentleness of the mist. Fog unites everything it touches, erasing distance and blending light with shadow. It is the earth whispering to itself, a soft dialogue between cloud and leaf, between atmosphere and life. When fog passes, It leaves calm behind, the echo of connection lingering in every drop. Carbon, the element of life, becomes peace within the forest. Through photosynthesis, trees draw carbon from the air and transform it into wood, leaf, and root. This quiet act of creation cleanses the atmosphere, turning what could harm into what sustains. Every breath we take owes its purity to this ancient process. When carbon becomes part of a tree, it joins the cycle of calm, resting within the stillness of growth. The forest's work is unseen yet constant, a song of transformation that keeps the planet in balance. In this way, trees do not just live, they harmonize the elements, teaching that even what is heavy can become light. The air we breathe carries that music, the song of carbon turned into calm, the melody of life renewing itself in silence. Wind is the language the forest speaks without words. As it moves through leaves and branches, it carries messages of weather, distance, and time. The sound of wind through pine or oak is never the same twice. Each tone is shaped by the shape of the tree and the mood of the air. Trees respond by swaying, bending, or releasing seeds, turning motion into dialogue. Even the smallest breeze stirs communication across the canopy, reminding the forest that connection lives in movement. Wind translates energy into sound, turning invisible forces into meaning. It speaks of change, of renewal, of rhythm. To stand among trees and listen to the wind is to hear the planet thinking aloud. Its sentences written in rustle and hush, its wisdom carried through every gentle current of air. In every breath, the forest remembers. Trees sense stress and recovery through changes in their internal chemistry and electrical signals. When faced with drought or damage, they adjust the flow of water, release protective compounds, and slow growth to conserve energy. Once balance returns, they reopen pathways and begin to heal. This process reflects awareness, a sensitivity to their environment that mirrors emotion in a quiet, natural form. Trees react not in panic, but in patience, allowing time and rhythm to restore what was lost. Their resilience comes from harmony, not resistance. Every sigh of wind, every drop of rain, becomes part of their healing language. In this slow cycle of stress and recovery, trees remind us that strength is not the absence of difficulty, but the art of responding gently until balance returns. Forests have the power to calm the human heartbeat. When people walk among trees, their breathing slows, blood pressure drops, and tension fades. This effect, known as forest bathing, is not just emotional but physiological. The forest releases natural compounds that relax the nervous system, while the sounds of rustling leaves synchronize with the rhythm of the heart. Within minutes, the body begins to mirror the calm energy of the woods. Every inhale draws in the stillness of trees. Every exhale lets go of noise and haste. The forest does not demand attention. It offers peace through presence. To stand among trees is to remember what calm feels like, to be reminded that the pulse of nature and the pulse of the body are one continuous rhythm of life. The scent of trees restores memory and peace, awakening emotions long buried within the mind. When we inhale the aroma of pine, cedar, or moss, the molecules travel directly to areas of the brain linked to memory and calm. These natural fragrances trigger a sense of familiarity, grounding us in the present while connecting us to something timeless. Scientists have found that such scents lower stress hormones and increase feelings of safety and clarity. The forest, through smell, becomes both medicine and memory, reminding us of the ancient bond between breath and healing. Each fragrance carries a message of comfort, the promise that balance can be found in something as simple as air. Through scent, the forest gently rewires the heart, guiding us back to stillness and peace. Beneath the canopy, healing moves in rhythm. The forest works through repetition, the pattern of light, the cadence of wind, the steady pulse of dripping water. Each sound and motion brings the body into synchronization with nature's pace. This rhythm calms the mind, lowers stress, and restores equilibrium. It is not sudden or loud, but steady and eternal. A music made of stillness and motion, intertwined. Walking through the forest feels like breathing in time with something older than thought. The rhythm of healing does not fix, it harmonizes. It reminds every living being that recovery is not a race, but a return to alignment. Within that quiet tempo, the world softens, and the heart begins to remember the language of calm. One steady breath at a time. The color green holds emotional harmony, balancing the mind like sunlight through leaves. It is the shade of renewal, the visual tone of peace. Green rests the eyes, slows the pulse, and signals safety deep within the brain. To look upon a forest is to feel the nervous system release its grip, soothed by the frequency of growth and life. The color itself is a form of medicine, reminding us that calm is natural, not earned. In green, we see both energy and stillness, motion and rest coexisting perfectly. The forest's palette heals through presence, not effort. Every hue, from moss to emerald, is a note in the song of balance. Through green, the earth speaks softly, telling us to breathe, to stay, to remember that peace is not far away but already within us. Silence is the forest's greatest teacher, showing how strength can grow without noise. Within stillness, trees endure storms, droughts, and time itself, responding slowly, but always recovering. Their silence is not emptiness, but presence, a kind of awareness that listens instead of reacts. In this quiet, life reorganizes itself, finding calm even in change. The absence of sound allows reflection, patience, and healing to take root. Trees remind us that resilience is not loud or hurried. It is the art of remaining steady when the world moves too fast. To stand among them is to feel that lesson unfold, a reminder that silence does not mean weakness but wisdom. In the quiet strength of the forest, life learns to bend without breaking, to endure without shouting, to grow through stillness alone. The kindness of sheltering leaves is one of nature's gentlest gifts. Each canopy spreads above the earth, offering shade to tender plants, coolness to weary animals, and rest to all who seek refuge beneath it. Leaves catch the heat of the sun and soften it, turning harsh light into comfort. They slow rain so it falls softly, protecting the soil from erosion. This simple act of protection sustains entire ecosystems without demand or pride. It is kindness expressed through design, generosity built into growth. Every rustle overhead is a promise of safety, a reminder that care can exist without expectation. The forest shelters, not by force, but by compassion, its leaves becoming a quiet embrace. In their shadow, life flourishes, nurtured by the unspoken tenderness of nature's endless patience. The forest lowers fear through sound, its natural symphony birdsong. Wind, distant water speaks directly to the human nervous system, reminding it that peace is near. These sounds carry frequencies proven to calm the heart and slow the breath, guiding the mind away from anxiety. The forest's voice has no sharp edges, no chaos, It flows in harmony, predictable yet alive. Even silence within it feels protective, filled with presence rather than emptiness. Listening to this soundscape resets the body, teaching it to trust again. Every whisper of air between branches becomes reassurance. Every note of rustling leaves a lullaby. The forest does not erase fear, it transforms it into calm awareness. In its song, we rediscover safety. And in safety, we rediscover ourselves. Stillness holds wisdom that movement cannot. In the quiet presence of trees, thoughts slow until they find their natural rhythm again. Stillness teaches us to wait, to observe, and to listen before we act. Trees spend lifetimes rooted in place, adapting to wind, rain, and season without haste. They remind us that understanding grows from observation, not reaction. The forest's stillness is not lack of life, but life in perfect balance. Awareness turned inward. When we enter that calm, our minds begin to reflect it, finding clarity that noise obscures. Stillness shows that truth does not need urgency, it needs space. The wisdom of the forest lies in its patience, in its ability to remain centered no matter what passes through it. Within that unshakable calm, everything finds its right time to grow. Awareness grows in the shade, where light filters gently and time feels slower. Beneath the canopy, every living thing learns to adapt, to reach patiently toward what it needs without taking more than necessary. Shade protects fragile seedlings, giving them the space to strengthen before facing the sun. In this dim calm, life learns balance, the art of growth through moderation. Awareness begins here, in the places where light and dark meet softly. The forest teaches that too much brightness can burn, and too much darkness can still the spirit. But in the shade, there is equilibrium, the quiet middle ground where reflection thrives. Awareness in nature is never forced. It unfolds naturally in gentleness. Beneath the shadow of trees, the world remembers how to listen, how to feel, how to truly grow. In their quiet, trees hold the memory of peace. Trees measure time, not with clocks, but with rhythm. Their lives unfold through the steady pulse of sunlight, rainfall, and season. Each day of growth leaves a trace within them, recorded in the texture of wood, the density of fiber, the pace of sap rising and falling. They sense the length of daylight, adjusting their cycles to the Earth's orbit with perfect precision. Time for a tree is not a number, but a feeling, warmth returning. Rain softening the soil, wind carrying the scent of change. This perception allows them to act in harmony with their environment, waking and resting as nature commands. Trees remind us that time is not mechanical but organic, measured in patience, in breath, in the quiet awareness of existence repeating itself endlessly beneath the sky. Growth rings inside trees are more than patterns. They are the written memory of the planet. Each ring marks a year, recording the story of climate, drought, flood, and renewal. By studying these circles, scientists can trace the history of seasons long past, understanding how the Earth once breathed. Narrow rings tell of hardship, wide rings speak of abundance. Together they form a biography written in silence, a timeline of resilience carved into living wood. Every layer is a memory, a record of adaptation through time. Trees keep these archives, not for vanity but for balance, remembering what the world has already endured. When we look inside them, we glimpse the continuity of life itself, nature's quiet library, preserving lessons of patience, endurance, and the sacred rhythm of change. Forests remember centuries of rain through the language of soil and roots. The earth beneath holds mineral traces of every storm, every flood, every drop that has ever fallen. This memory shapes how future trees grow, teaching them where water gathers, where drought hides, and when the balance will return. The rhythm of rainfall is stored in the forest's pulse, the hum of groundwater moving slowly beneath. Old roots sense these patterns, guiding new growth towards survival. In this way, the forest becomes a living chronicle of weather and time, a breathing archive of renewal. Every storm leaves a message, every dry spell a lesson. The forest does not forget. It evolves through remembrance. Its memory is moisture, held and released in perfect rhythm, an eternal dialogue between sky and earth. Root systems store ancient signals, passing wisdom from one generation of trees to the next. Through fungal connections and chemical messages, roots share data about soil, water, and even past threats. A tree growing today may respond to information stored centuries before, shaped by echoes of long-vanished forests. These underground memories allow survival to continue even when landscapes change. The network remembers droughts, fires, and floods, retaining the genetic and chemical imprint of endurance. In this hidden archive, the forest speaks to itself across time, ensuring that knowledge never dies. Roots do not merely hold trees upright, they hold their history. In every fiber beneath the soil, memory lives and breathes, creating continuity through stillness. What looks like silence is actually communication. The earth itself whispering, teaching, and remembering through connection. Old trees are teachers to young forests. Through root systems, scent, and shade, they guide the next generation in how to grow, when to rest, and where to seek light. Their fallen leaves enrich the soil, turning memory into nourishment. Even after centuries, they continue to share through chemical signals, shaping the behavior of seedlings around them. Young trees grow stronger near elders, learning resilience through their presence. These lessons are not spoken but lived patience, endurance, and generosity expressed through every fiber of wood. The wisdom of old trees forms the backbone of the forest, a steady rhythm that endures through ages. They show that true teaching requires no words, only example. In every whisper of wind through their branches, they remind the young that time itself is the greatest instructor of all. The seasons are the forest's heartbeat, pulsing through every root, leaf, and drop of air. Spring brings renewal, when sap rises and buds awaken. Summer is abundance, when growth hums at its fullest. Autumn whispers release, as leaves fall to nourish the ground. Winter becomes stillness, the pause that gathers strength for another cycle. This rhythm guides every life in the forest, from insects to towering pines. Seasons are not simply time passing, they are nature breathing. Each shift carries memory and instruction, teaching the trees when to rest, when to reach, and when to let go. In this eternal heartbeat, the forest finds balance and continuity. The rhythm of seasons reminds us that change is not loss but renewal, that life's pulse endures quietly beneath the flow of transformation. Winter's silence is the forest's reflection, beneath frozen soil and sleeping roots. Thought continues in stillness. Trees slow their rhythm, conserving energy. Turning inward as the world pauses, the hush of winter is not emptiness but contemplation, a necessary quiet between movements. Snow blankets the forest floor like a layer of calm, softening sound, dimming light, and deepening awareness. Life does not stop, it simply rests, gathering strength for spring. In this peaceful dormancy, the forest mirrors the human need for pause to listen, to remember, to restore. The silence holds wisdom older than time itself, that reflection sustains creation. When the thaw comes, the forest will wake, renewed, its patience rewarded. Winter teaches that peace is not the absence of life, but its most thoughtful, enduring form of presence. Regeneration is the forest's slowest, most sacred act. When trees fall or soil is disturbed, the recovery begins quietly, often unseen. Seeds take root in the spaces left behind, drawing nourishment from decay. Moss and fungi appear first, breaking down what was, transforming it into what will be. This process may take decades, sometimes centuries, yet nothing is wasted. Every loss becomes foundation, every death a renewal. The long patience of regeneration proves that healing does not happen in haste. It is a rhythm of persistence, trust, and faith in time. The forest reminds us that repair is not linear but circular, that life rebuilds itself with grace. In watching it renew, we learn that endurance is beauty in motion, and that nothing truly ends, it simply begins again in another form. When a tree falls, it does not stop teaching. Its trunk becomes shelter for small creatures, its bark a nursery for moss and fungi. As it decays, it releases nutrients that feed the next generation, turning its body into soil rich with memory. Even in death, it supports life, continuing the cycle it once sustained in shade and strength. Fallen trees show that wisdom lives in surrender, that endings can nurture beginnings. They remind the forest that growth requires letting go, that beauty continues, even in transformation. The fallen become bridges across streams, homes for roots, and lessons for the living. Each decomposing log is a quiet classroom, teaching balance, humility, and the grace of returning to earth. The forest learns through loss, turning stillness into instruction, and decay into life's purest renewal. Time in the forest flows like sap, slow yet constant, moving unseen but essential. It winds through every trunk, carrying nourishment, memory, and life. Sap rises with the warmth of spring and retreats with the calm of winter, marking the seasons not with numbers, but with feeling. This quiet circulation mirrors the flow of time itself, unhurried, cyclical, and deeply alive. Every droplet is a measure of persistence, connecting root to leaf, past to present. Time does not rush in the forest. It moves at the pace of growth, patient and deliberate. To watch it is to understand endurance, to see eternity moving in small gestures. The sap teaches that motion can be calm, that life's continuity depends on rhythm, not speed. In its flow, time becomes tenderness, endlessly beginning again. In the patience of growth, time forgets to hurry. Trees shape animal migration through rhythm and offering. As seasons change, they produce fruits, flowers, and shelter that guide creatures across vast distances. Birds, deer, bears, and countless others follow these signals, timing their movement with the forest's calendar. The falling of acorns or ripening of berries tells them when to travel, where to feed, and when to rest. In this way, trees orchestrate life beyond themselves, influencing entire ecosystems through patience and timing. Their presence becomes a living compass, directing survival and continuity, even after storms or droughts. The pattern remains, ensuring that the dance between species continues. The forest's generosity is not accidental but deeply intentional, an invisible harmony that keeps the world connected. In feeding others, trees sustain balance, turning their quiet cycles into guidance for all who listen. Birds are the forest's messengers, carrying information, seeds, and balance across distances. Their songs mark territory, warn of danger, and signal change. They help forests expand by scattering seeds far beyond their origins, planting life where roots have yet to reach. The rhythm of wings keeps the forest breathing, bridging sky and soil. Some birds, like woodpeckers, carve shelter for others. Some, like ravens, remember places for decades, weaving continuity through flight. Their voices are part of the forest's language, blending with the rustle of leaves and whisper of wind. Each call and movement strengthens the web of connection that holds life together. Birds are not separate from the trees they perch on. They are partners in an endless dialogue of creation, carrying the forest's thoughts from one horizon to another. Insects are the quiet builders of the forest, ensuring its renewal through pollination and decay. Bees, beetles, butterflies, and countless others transfer pollen between flowers, allowing trees to reproduce and thrive. Termites and ants recycle what has fallen, turning it into nourishment for new growth. Though small, their work sustains the rhythm of the entire ecosystem. Insects remind the forest that size does not determine importance, that even the smallest life carries enormous influence. Their buzzing and crawling are the unseen symphony beneath the leaves, transforming death into fertility, stillness into motion. Without them, trees could not bloom, fruits could not form, and soil would forget its richness. Insects teach cooperation through purpose, balance through movement. In their tireless labor, they embody nature's intelligence, quiet, precise, and endlessly generous. Mammals carry the forest's memory through movement. As they wander, they spread seeds in fur, in footprints, and through what they eat. Each seed dropped becomes a possibility, a new life taking root far from where it began. In this way, animals write the next chapter of the forest's story, extending its reach across mountains, valleys, and fields. Their migration keeps ecosystems connected, linking one grove to another. Even their passing footprints press nutrients into soil, shaping how water and roots move. These silent gardeners of the wild ensure that life remains in motion, that no corner of the earth is forgotten. The partnership between mammals and trees is timeless instinct and growth intertwined. Every trail they carve becomes a pathway for renewal, carrying the breath of the forest forward through time. Moss listens to light with a sensitivity that borders on awareness. Though it has no eyes, it senses brightness, moisture, and temperature, adjusting its growth accordingly. When light shifts, moss turns, stretching gently toward it, using even the faintest glow to sustain life. It thrives in the quietest corners, turning shade into beauty and stillness into resilience. Mosses are record keepers of humidity and time, responding instantly to the breath of the forest. Their softness cushions soil and stone, holding moisture for the roots above. They teach that awareness can exist in simplicity, that listening requires no voice. Through moss, we see the gentlest form of intelligence life that observes without taking, adapts without struggle, and endures without demand. In its delicate stillness, moss embodies the art of quiet understanding. Rivers learn from trees, flowing with the same patience and purpose that guide the forest. The roots of trees hold the soil in place, shaping the river's path and preventing erosion. In return, the river nourishes the trees, carrying minerals and memory from mountains to valleys. This exchange forms a conversation of water and wood, where each learns balance through giving. The curves of a river mirror the bend of branches, both following the easiest path toward harmony. When floods come, trees absorb the excess. When drought arrives, roots release stored moisture. Together, they teach that strength lies in cooperation, not control. The rhythm of rivers and trees is the earth's heartbeat, a continuous dialogue between flow and stillness. To watch them is to witness wisdom written in movement, endlessly adapting, endlessly alive. Fire renews balance in the forest, restoring life through destruction. Though fierce and consuming, it clears deadwood, opens the canopy, and releases seeds that only sprout after heat. Some trees, like pines, depend on fire to continue their lineage. After the flames fade, the ground becomes fertile, rich with ash and minerals that fuel new growth. Fire is nature's reset, a reminder that endings create beginnings. The forest does not fear it, it prepares for it, adapting bark, seeds, and soil to withstand its passage. Renewal follows loss, turning chaos into harmony. In this cycle, balance returns stronger than before. Fire teaches resilience, that creation and destruction are partners, not opposites. Its warmth is both challenge and blessing, shaping the rhythm of the forest and ensuring that life never stagnates, only transforms. Rain is the forest's conversation with the sky. Each droplet carries information: temperature, salt, and scent that trees read through their leaves and roots. The rhythm of rainfall dictates growth, signals renewal, and nourishes every form of life beneath the canopy. When rain touches leaves, the forest responds, releasing oils and aromas that rise back into the air, shaping future weather. It is a dialogue of moisture and memory, a cycle of endless exchange between earth and atmosphere. Rain speaks softly but persistently, reminding all living things that connection requires listening. Every storm writes new stories into soil and bark, and every clearing sky leaves behind gratitude. The forest and rain are inseparable voices in one song, teaching that even the gentlest drops can carry the power to heal and create. Animals and roots trade trust in a silent partnership built over time. Burrowing creatures loosen soil, allowing water and air to reach deep underground. In return, trees provide food, shade, and safety. Rodents bury nuts that later sprout into new forests, while roots stabilize the earth to protect animal homes. This cooperation is not planned but instinctive, a shared understanding that survival thrives in connection. Each movement, each footprint, contributes to balance. The forest's harmony depends on this invisible exchange effort without expectation. Giving without demand, it is nature's quiet trust, passed between claw and root, breath and soil. The lesson is simple yet profound. When life works together, the world grows stronger. Beneath the surface of stillness, a network of faith binds every living thing to the next. The wild possesses a shared consciousness that connects every being, from the smallest insect to the tallest tree. This unity is not spoken but felt, an awareness carried through soil, air, and heartbeat. When a forest burns, animals flee before the flames. When rain approaches, leaves shift in anticipation. Every life form listens to the same pulse, guided by the same invisible current of energy. This awareness keeps ecosystems balanced, ensuring that all thrive together. The wild does not separate itself into categories, it exists as one vast intelligence, fluid and interwoven. Within it, survival becomes collaboration, and instinct becomes wisdom. To step into the wild is to enter this living mind, to feel the hum of consciousness moving quietly through every breath of air and every beat of life surrounding us. Every voice of nature echoes in the roots. Ancient trees hold a form of awareness born from time itself. Their roots have touched generations of soil. Their branches have felt centuries of wind and rain. Inside them flows the memory of everything that has passed the fires, the storms, the stillness. This awareness is not thought but perception, a slow wisdom written in rings and fibre. They sense shifts in air, the vibrations of footsteps, the hum of life around them. Some scientists believe trees can anticipate danger, altering chemistry to adapt long before harm arrives. To stand before an ancient tree is to stand before memory, patience, and presence woven together. They do not rush. They do not forget. Their awareness stretches beyond human time, a consciousness of connection that listens more deeply than words ever could. Forests sense our presence in ways both subtle and profound. When we walk among them, the rhythm of our breath and footsteps alters the forest's chemistry. Leaves shift, roots adjust water flow, and even the microbial life in the soil responds. Studies show that plants detect vibrations and changes in carbon dioxide from nearby creatures, recognizing that something alive has entered their space. Yet the response is never rejection. It is curiosity, quiet acknowledgement. The forest receives us, absorbing our energy into its pulse. When we enter with stillness, the forest opens. When we rush or fear, it withdraws. In this exchange, we rediscover our place within the living world, reminded that we are not visitors, but participants in a vast and breathing consciousness that notices us always. Earth and sky meet through the forest, their unity made visible in branches that rise and roots that descend. Trees are the mediators between realms, drawing light from above and water from below, binding the two worlds into one living system. When wind moves through leaves, it carries whispers from the heavens. When rain soaks the soil, it delivers gifts from the clouds. In this endless conversation, the forest becomes harmony incarnate, balancing weight and wonder. Each trunk is both prayer and pillar, grounding the sky in the patience of the earth. Through forests, the planet breathes in completeness, sky feeding soil, soil lifting sky. The unity between earth and sky is not metaphor but truth, sustained by every leaf, every drop, every heartbeat of the green world. Forests heal through sound, through the rhythm of wind and the chorus of unseen life. Each rustle of leaf and crackle of branch carries frequency, vibration, and calm. These sounds synchronize with the human body, slowing heart rate, softening tension, and easing thought. Even silence has tone here, a low hum that steadies the senses. Birds, insects, and flowing water compose music older than language, one that the mind recognizes instinctively. Listening within the forest resets our internal rhythm, drawing us into balance. Sound is its medicine, and we are its patient listeners. Healing here requires no effort. only presence, in the gentle resonance between tree and ear, body and air. The spirit aligns once more with nature's harmony. The forest does not speak in words, but sings softly, reminding us how to remember peace. Light is the soul of the woods, flowing between branches, like thought between dreams. It touches bark, leaf, and moss, giving shape to colour and warmth to breath. When morning arrives, it filters through mist in golden threads, awakening everything it touches. The light is not constant, it changes. It teaches, it reveals the unseen. Within it, the forest moves from mystery to clarity, from sleep to song. Light feeds more than photosynthesis. It feeds emotion, rhythm, and connection. It shows that life itself is not static but illuminated motion. The woods hold it gently, scattering it through leaves so no part burns too bright. To walk within that filtered glow is to stand inside spirit itself, surrounded by grace. In every flicker of sunlight through green, the forest remembers its own divine pulse. When trees dream in moonlight, the forest glows with a quiet energy. Sap slows, leaves shimmer faintly, and branches move as if breathing in rhythm with the night. The moon's light, though soft, carries messages of temperature, gravity, and time, guiding the nocturnal life that stirs beneath the canopy. Trees sense these cycles through subtle changes in light and air, adjusting growth and rest in harmony with the lunar rhythm. Some plants open slightly, others close, responding to this ancient pulse written into the universe. In moonlight, the forest becomes a dream of itself, half asleep, half awake, suspended between thought and silence. The night becomes a mirror of calm awareness, where every shadow remembers the sun, and every leaf reflects the memory of light resting gently on its skin. The forest is reborn endlessly, a cycle of renewal without beginning or end. Each fallen leaf becomes soil. Each decayed trunk transforms into nourishment, and each seed awakens when the time is right. Life here does not vanish. It rearranges itself in infinite combinations. Fire, flood, and frost may reshape it, but nothing truly disappears. The forest understands transformation better than any living thing. Its patience is the secret of its immortality. Every breath of wind carries pollen. Every root holds potential. Every patch of moss shelters new beginnings. Even silence prepares for growth. Through loss and return, the forest demonstrates eternity, not as permanence, but as constant becoming. Its rebirth is not loud or dramatic, but steady, graceful, and sure, a timeless rhythm written into the very bones of the earth. Stillness is the forest's most profound form of communication. Beneath the absence of motion lies an invisible conversation, sap moving, roots pulsing, air shifting through pores of bark and leaf. The forest speaks in patience, and its message is balance. Stillness allows all life within it to listen, to sense the presence of others without interruption. It teaches awareness without words, trust without proof. Animals pause, trees wait, even the air seems to hold its breath. Within that quiet, everything connects more deeply. Stillness is not silence, it is understanding. It carries wisdom beyond sound, reminding us that listening requires calm and that harmony is born from restraint. In the forest's stillness, one can hear the heartbeat of life itself, steady, timeless, and always speaking softly. Within one seed lies the memory of the entire world. Encoded in its tiny form is the knowledge of soil, sunlight, and rain gathered over countless generations. Each seed knows when to wake, when to sleep, and where to grow. It carries resilience, shaped by millennia of adaptation, remembering both abundance and struggle. When it sprouts, it replays the story of creation in miniature roots, reaching down for history. Leaves reaching up for future. A single seed holds potential for forests, for air, for life itself. It is the Earth's smallest promise, a fragment of eternity waiting for its moment to unfold. The seed teaches that greatness begins in silence, that memory can live inside something smaller than a fingernail, yet hold the power to reshape worlds. The forest is the mind of the earth, a living network of thought and connection, stretching across continents. Its roots act like neurone, transmitting information. Its canopy functions as memory, storing energy and rhythm. Every organism within it participates in this vast consciousness: plants, fungi, animals, and even air moving as one awareness. The forest perceives, responds, and adapts, keeping balance for the entire planet. It is not separate from Earth, but the expression of its intelligence. Within this mind, harmony replaces chaos, and every action sustains the whole. The forest teaches the world how to think through patience, cooperation, and calm. It dreams in growth, remembers through decay, and speaks through silence. To walk beneath its shade is to step into thought itself, to feel the planet thinking in green. And when the forest sleeps, the planet dreams. Take one last breath with the forest and let it move through you like a slow river of calm. The air you breathe once passed through pine needles, moss, and fern, touched bark and cloud, and carried whispers of rain. With every inhale, if you join the oldest rhythm of the earth, the quiet intelligence that listens beneath the soil and speaks in rustle and breeze. The forest is not a place of separation but of unity, a single living mind that thinks through trees, roots, and light. When you walk beneath its canopy, you are walking through memory. The ground beneath you remembers centuries of rain. The trunks around you hold stories written in rings, and the air above hums with the soft breath of life continuing. The forest does not speak with words, yet it understands every sound, every sigh, every heartbeat that enters its presence. Now, let that awareness bring stillness to your thoughts. Feel your breath slow to match the wind between the leaves. Imagine your pulse syncing with the rhythm of roots deep below. You are not apart from this harmony. You are woven into it. Another voice in the great song of renewal that never ends. The forest has always known your presence, even before you stepped among its shadows. As night deepens, let your worries dissolve into the hush of branches above. Each sound fades into a softer tone. Each thought loosens like mist, lifting from the ground. Drift as the forest drifts, patient, connected, endlessly alive in silence. The same force that guides the growth of trees guides your breath now, slow and peaceful. If the forests can listen, so can we. If the earth can remember, so can you. Rest now and know that you are not alone. You are part of every root that has ever dreamed beneath the stars, every leaf that has ever reached for light, every whisper of wind that has ever carried peace across the world. Tonight, let the forest dream through you and sleep as the earth sleeps, calm, endless, and whole.